what's up, bosses? Welcome back to your favorite show, The Truck Boss Show. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell notification so you're up to date with all of the latest trucker news. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast, Bosscast, for the latest episode of the series White Line Fever, 6 days on the road with Earl Green and Carl Montgomery. Today, we've got a great show for you. Here's what we've got coming up. We are sharing an incredible story, father-son trucking story that you won't want to miss. And we're checking in with Brad as he gives us the lowdown on used truck sales. So, are you ready? Let's take a ride. We all know the bond between a father and son is nearly unbreakable. And for this next story, we take you to Michigan, where we met a trucker showing off his rig, all for his dad's memory. Watch this. Onaway's Big Rig Challenge featured all the black smoke you could want. The drag races left crowds in awe as they watched semi-trucks battle it out, carrying 140,000 pounds of lumber to see who's the best. The event also featured Shine and Show trucks, beautiful trucks on display for all to see. And tucked between those trucks is where we found Paul.
It's an 06 Freightliner Classic XL. I've only had it about a year. I've done a lot to it. It's still a work in progress. Like I say, it's not exactly a show truck, but I work it every day, so I try to keep it clean and keep updating it as I go.
Paul's truck may not be the most grandiose truck that was in the show. It might be the one with the best story, though. You see, Paul is trucking for his dad. 4 years ago, Paul lost his dad when he went to purchase a new truck. Shortly after, he saw a whole lot of signs that it might have been sent from above.
When I bought it just over a year ago, I was looking for a heavy haul truck, and about 4 years ago, I lost my dad to cancer. And there's a sticker on the door right there that says F cancer. So it was kind of a sign when I seen it, and I just had the motor rebuilt in it, and it's a cat, and I painted it blue because blue was my dad's favorite color. So a lot of sentiment.
Paul is from Michigan and has attended Big Rig Challenge all 4 years it's been around. He's even visited the drag races held in Canada. Hauling mostly mulch, he gives us a tour of his rig.
It's got heavy-duty rear ends under it, 46,000 pounds. It sits up quite high compared to other trucks because I drive off-road with it quite a bit. A lot of guys with like Pete's and stuff like that, big fuel tanks, they end up damaging the tanks and stuff. So it does its job well. So.
And Paul even brought a piece of his dad with him because Big Rig Challenge was an event that he wouldn't have missed. Stories like that always warm my heart and help us to remember what an amazing trucking community we have. Nikki, what you got for us?
Thanks, Brittany. Last week we discussed diesel fuel prices being sky high. Well, that isn't the only thing with a hefty price tag. Used trucks have not only been a hot commodity, but you will be paying a pretty penny if you're in the market for one. Find out why right now with our guy, Brad.
Used truck prices have been through the roof lately, if you can find one at all. I talked with Chris Visser, Senior Analyst and Product Manager in the Commercial Vehicle Division of J.D. Power. Chris, what's the deal with used truck prices? Why is everything so expensive, and why are used trucks so hard to find?
Yeah, well, if it feels like everything in the used truck market is nuts, you're completely correct. In the auction, the wholesale, and the retail channels, pricing is the highest it's been since at least the Great Recession, and probably quite a bit back before then as well. We could get into the factors of why that is. I think that's been covered pretty well, but we've got a lot of tailwinds supporting used truck pricing, most notably the shortage of new trucks, which is driven, of course, by the rolling parts shortages, chip shortages, rolled steel shortages, things of that nature. So that's making a lot of fleets look to the used market for late model, low mileage used trucks. And at the same time, we're in a cyclical low point for trade-ins because just the nature of the 4-year trade cycle. We hadn't been in a point of that cycle where we would have expected a good amount of trade-ins. So there just aren't enough trucks to go around to meet demand. And of course, the other side of that is the freight side, which is super hot thanks to all the changes that COVID caused. With the stockpiling, the shortages of goods, shift to consumer spending from services, and that freight market has stayed super hot since ever since last April or so.
There's a lot to unpack there. Talk to me about the chip shortage.
Of course, everything gets back to COVID. On the factory floors, where we first had production shutdowns because of people getting COVID and not enough staff to build trucks here in the States. And then we had parts shortages that are still ongoing from overseas suppliers for the same reason. Then, of course, there's the shipping bottlenecks of getting those products, those either raw materials or partially finished products from overseas to the factories here in the States to install into the trucks on the assembly line. Those shipping bottlenecks are still ongoing, as everybody watching this is all too aware, which has one silver lining, which is that it pretty much guarantees that there will be more freight to move going forward. So that extends this whole strong freight market ahead more than it might have otherwise been.
So if you've already got a truck, you're in a good position. If you're looking to buy a truck, probably better to wait. Chris, how much have used truck prices gone up and over what time frame?
Yeah, and this is where it gets completely insane. It's the most drastic increase in the shortest amount of time that I've seen in over 20 years watching the market. In the auction market, year over year, if we look at the first 5 months of this year compared to the first 5 months of last year, pricing is 80% higher this year than it was last year. That's 80.
How long is this likely to continue, and what should our viewers look for as an indicator that prices are going to be coming down?
First, it's important to watch the companies that forecast freight rates and volumes. Right now, they're pointing to a strong market into 2022, and volumes not going back to negative year over year until 2023. So we've pretty much got smooth sailing as far as freight market goes. On the other side is the used truck supply. With the shortages, the OEMs are saying we're not going to see any, notable improvement in availability of new trucks until next year. So that just gets back into whether the fleets decide that they have all the late model, low mileage used trucks that they need for the time being. So right now, fleets are having a pretty good business selling trucks directly off of their website at retail prices. But if we start to notice a lot more of these trucks coming into the auctions and cycling through that way at lower pricing, if we see 2 or 3 auctions where that happens, then we can be pretty confident that the market has shifted. And unfortunately, the used truck market usually shifts drastically. It's not a gradual shift. So once things turn, they turn pretty quickly and pretty dramatically. So that's when we know the cycle is into the bust territory.
Chris, thanks for talking with us today. I know our viewers appreciate it. For the Truck Boss Show, I'm Brad Kuhn. I'll see you down the road.
That is some great information. Thanks again, Brad, for bringing us that. And no shocker and no surprise, there is a shortage because, shocker, shocker, COVID has impacted the supply chain and all the warehouses and the chip shortage. So it's definitely impacted the industry, and those prices are going up on everything, Brittany.
On everything.
Yeah.
Thanks, COVID. I'm ready for COVID to be over.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yes.
We ain't got no time for ya.
No. So what do we have next week for them?
Yes, we are talking with an Oklahoma highway patrolman on ways to stay safe legally, but you're never going to guess how you actually know him. He's semi-famous, especially here in Oklahoma.
Nice. And then we take you back to the Gear Jammer Magazine Truck Show with a family up there that had some pretty badass trucks that you are not going to want to miss. So stay tuned next week for that.
Yeah, they may be like Transformers or
Oh,
something. You
never
never
know.
know. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because we can't keep doing this without you and all of your support.
That's right. So why do we do this, Brittany?
Because you're the boss.